Hello and welcome to my live masterclass on becoming unstoppable. April Mack here, welcoming in people for this beautiful masterclass, which has been divinely inspired, as with everything I do these days. So if you're watching on a replay, hashtag replay so that I know you are here, and please leave a comment and let me know how you found it. So I'm just going to wait for a minute or two for a couple of people to join, and if nobody joins, I'll go ahead and deliver it to no one, because I know you guys will watch back on a replay. So I'll just wait a minute or two, see who we get. Kind of need some intermission music while I'm waiting for people to join, don't I? Just going to see. Hey Liz, how are you? Nice to see you. Karen! Yay, in the house. Beautiful to see you. I'll just wait for a couple more people to come on. Nice to see you. We got a wine or a cup of tea, people? Do you know what? Just before I came on here, I'd filled myself up a beautiful cup of tea and I was getting all set up and I knocked the entire thing over. But I had enough time to get another one, so I've got another one now. But now my little table here beside me is very wet. It's actually a little cat home that doubles as a table. Okay, I'm just going to see if anyone else is coming on before I get started. I'll give another minute or two. Yes, you do. What was that in relation to? The time delay means I don't know what you mean, Karen. G&T. Very nice. I like a good G&T. With lemon or lime. Very nice. Okay, well, drink away. Now let's wait 1 or 2 more minutes, see who else is coming. Maybe there's no one. I'm just going to straighten this up too, because that's annoying me. Sorry about my hand in the way there. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get started now and talk about becoming unstoppable, which is, you know what, when I had the idea for this, I think some of you know this, that I don't even know where it came from, but when I was coming up with the masterclasses that I was going to do as part of my DIVA launch, I just allowed what to come through, and the words becoming unstoppable showed up on the page, and I thought, right, okay, I'll be talking about that then. And it is something I'm passionate about because for a lot of reasons, I'm personally feel like I'm a bit unstoppable and have been for a couple of years, and I wanted to share with you how that's been the case for me in my own business and hopefully inspire you to be the same if you're not already. And if you are the same, then hopefully you'll still get something out of tonight, because you'll understand why you might be a little bit different from other people that you know, or potentially from your partners, because often one of us will be unstoppable and the other one won't be. Won't be that way inclined, and then just looks at you and thinks, what the hell? What is driving that woman? Usually it's a woman. Most of my people that I talk to are women, but you know, it could be a man too. What is driving that person? So I don't want to be sexist or anything like that, or gender specific, but often the people that I work with are feminine beings, and so if I say that, that's what I mean. So let me just have a quick look here. See, now what I just want to let you know as well is, as we go, please feel free to comment and let me know your thoughts or questions as we go, and I might not address them there and then, but I will come back to them. Okay, so, and if you need to leave early, then please jump off and come back and watch the replay and comment as you do. So, first of all, if anyone's watching and they've never heard of me and don't know who I am, I'm April Mack, and I'm a business coach and mentor, and I help people create a business that feels totally in alignment with their true calling, with their soul's calling. And I'm passionate about that, because when I started my business, I thought that that's what I was doing, but I kind of got off track. And so having brought myself back on track in real alignment with who I am and what I'm here to do, it's helping me then help others do the same. So that's kind of my niche area, and I help people grow their businesses in ways that feel absolutely beautiful. And this masterclass is going to be available for the next 48 hours live here on my page and on replay. And then after 2 days, after 48 hours, it'll be hived off just for the DIVA people. So those are the people who feel that they are here to take divinely inspired, valiant action. And they're the people, some of them are watching now, which is just beautiful, that are part of my monthly membership program. And I'll tell you more about that at the end in case you haven't heard of it. I have been banging on about it, so if you haven't heard of it, I can't understand why. But I'm more than happy to talk about it at the end and let you know how to get in. So there's some of the members already watching. The doors are unofficially open and we're already doing awesome stuff together. So it's open now to the public. But I'm not here to talk about DIVA. I will at the end. But I'm here to talk about becoming unstoppable. So I don't know if any of you feel that you're unstoppable already, and hopefully you do. But if you don't, then, maybe you'll get some inspiration here tonight. So first of all, what does it mean? Well, basically for me, it has meant that once I realized that I was here to do something bigger than what I was in the workplace, this is my experience, and I realized that I had needed to do something to help other people in some shape or form, and I didn't even know how that was. Once I got that calling in my heart to do that, was the moment that I realized that I was unstoppable. And it's been kind of going and evolving for me for a couple of years in earnest, like I guess 2016 would have been the year where I really opened this channel up and started my little, what I would have called a hobby or a side hustle in trying to help other people. And once I did that, it grew something inside me that has meant that even if I wanted to, I can't stop. And that has been both a blessing and a curse at different times. And I don't know if anyone watching is resonating, because I know that the people that are drawn to me and the people that I work with are those who also feel that they've got a yearning in their heart to do something that's bigger than them, that's beyond, anything that they might even have imagined for themselves. And it can feel quite scary, but it comes with a sense of not feeling like you cannot do it. And it can be challenging because there are times when our surroundings and our environment make it difficult to keep going, And I was talking to someone just today who's in a very tricky personal situation, yet she feels this calling to serve and do this thing that's really quite big in the world, but her environment and her personal situation is kind of getting in the way of it. And that can be super, super frustrating. So who here watching knows what I'm talking about and has been frustrated when their calling is so big, yet their situation is kind of getting in the way? I know that's been the case for me. I'd be really interested to see if anyone else watching has felt that as well. Janie's saying sometimes. I don't know if that's in relation to what I just asked Janie. Okay, there's always a time delay with these comments, so it's a bit hard asking a question like that and then waiting for the answer. So I'll come back to your answers on that. But for me personally, when I felt this calling to do all this stuff beyond where I was at the time and my environment was tricky, was actually right at the end of my separation from my then husband. So this calling to serve and do all this stuff was bang smack in the middle of my own turmoil. So it was really tricky to juggle both. But the upside of this thing that, I call a calling or a yearning that's bigger than you is that it does have a force behind it that allows you to pretty much become unstoppable, because you just can't even fathom stopping. So that's what I'm talking about tonight. And that's what, if you haven't found that thing and you haven't got that, then, there are ways to kind of dive in and get it. And so they include things like really stopping to ask yourself, what gives you meaning? So that was like kind of the first question that that someone asked me actually when I was at quite a low point just before the marriage separation. A mentor of mine, he stood there and, you know, I remember the moment, and I said to him, I'm so sad, I'm so frustrated, I just don't know what to do with my life. And he just said, well, what gives you meaning, April, in your life right now? And I stopped and thought about it, and I knew the answer really quickly. And he said, whatever it is, just do more of that. And that was like the opening for me into something that was way bigger than me. And for me, that thing that gave me meaning at that time was mentoring. So I had a young girl that I'd mentored for many years, beautiful, beautiful soul who I'd been connected with for a long time, and I was her mentor. And I realized that me helping her was the source of meaning in my life. It was more meaningful to me than anything else that I'd ever done before. And it's probably still stands out as the most meaningful thing that I've ever done, because my relationship in her life changed her life in ways that, you know, are hard to describe and define, and vice versa. Her relationship for me was life-changing in so many ways as well. It's something very special. I've talked about it in quite a few forums, so many of you actually know this story. But that was the opening point for me. And then once I realized, okay, so my job here on this planet, in this incarnation, is to help others in some way, shape or form. That was the beginning, the realization that that's what I'm here to do. And so for me, it set me on a bit of a journey, which, you know, I'm now 3 years in, and I'm doing something quite different these days than when I started out. And so what I want to let you guys know as well is that wherever you start might not be where you end up, okay? So, and it's okay for it to change and, you know, take new direction. But the point is, if you feel that yearning, just start. You don't have to nail it down. You don't have to know exactly what it is. You just follow the heart yearning to do something bigger than what you're already doing, or something different to what you're already doing, and just start it. Because what will happen is once you start, then doors will open this way and that way. Things will shut, others will open. And if you follow and keep following what feels right and aligned and in your heart, then, you know, you'll get to where it is you're going. And there's no end, is there, right? So it keeps changing. So I'm here right now and doing this stuff, which I absolutely love and fills my cup and brings me meaning and makes me just feel alive. And in a few years, it will probably be something different, and that's totally fine. I think as long as you feel like you're getting that meaning and that you're feeling energized and feeling like you're listening to the call of your soul, that's kind of, you know, the key. And it doesn't matter where you start or where you end up, as long as you're listening, it's just going to be beautiful. And in almost all cases, in all of the people that I work with, we're all here trying to help others in some way, shape or form. And it doesn't matter how we do that, you know. So when I started out, I was mentoring people and doing more life coaching. And but it wasn't quite right. And then I've now since moved now into more business coaching and coaching people in the early stages of their business, helping them get that alignment. And this is feeling really, really good for me. So yeah, where I started out isn't where I've ended up, and it will probably keep changing. So I'm going to look at my notes now, because I feel like I haven't stuck to the plan, but this is totally fine because I allow that, because I know that because I do my connecting before I come on these lives, connecting to the divine, that what comes through me and out is what's meant to be said, and it will be useful for somebody watching. So I'm just going with the flow, Okay, so one of the things I have taught in the past, and I still like to talk about it because I think it's really valuable, especially for people who haven't really quite nailed what they're here for, is to find the why that makes you cry. So this is, you know, why I do what I do, if when I stop and really sit down and think about it and about the helping others, if when I hit that on the head a few years ago and I was journaling about it, once I realized what it was, I burst into tears and I started sobbing, because I realized that it was just so much bigger than, me. So I encourage people to do a little bit of writing or, contemplating on that. You don't have to do writing, but writing is a really useful tool to do it. You can write, what is my purpose, at the top of a page, and then just write and write and write until you get a lump in the throat, until tears are welling up, and then you'll have hit the thing and at least gotten closer to it. And then, as I say, sorry, I think my dinner's not quite gone down yet. If you hit the thing and that brings you emotion, and just follow that, just take some action towards that, then, the momentum and the action gets the wheels turning, and from there you can steer the car. So, you can't steer a car where it's stopped, and, it's really hard to shift those wheels because they're stuck on the ground. But once you're moving and then you turn the wheel, direction changes super easy. So just follow the heart, follow what you feel called to, and things will happen beautifully as they do. All right, I wanted to mention as well, something else that's come up is around often when we feel a calling in this way, we may be already in a particular career or job as an employee. And often what we're being called to do will take us out of that environment in some way, shape or form. So that was the case for me, and it's the case for many of the people I work with. And that can be a real struggle when you've been an employee for such a long time, to then think of not being an employee and becoming an entrepreneur or someone running their own business. It's a real shift, and it doesn't happen overnight. So I did just want to make mention of that. If anyone is an employee but feels a calling that's outside of that, that's a whole process in and of itself, but it's not one that isn't possible. It's totally possible, and I would just encourage people to take, small steps, try and navigate the two worlds for a while, and do the transition from employee to entrepreneur over a period of time. Like set something up that you can do, maybe cut back your hours as an employee and do something on the side, give yourself some time to explore different things, and then move into that, because the mindset of an entrepreneur and running your own business is super, super different to being an employee. Anyone watching, I'm sure you'll agree with that. So I don't think anyone's leaving comments. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing many. So anyway, if you are, maybe I can't see them, but I will come back to them after the live and I'll come back and comment. So entrepreneur mindset really requires you to have a lot of faith in yourself. You suddenly can't rely on other people's views and feedback like you would in a job where you get performance reviews and, day-to-day feedback on what you need to be doing and how well you're going. As an entrepreneur, you don't get that. You get nothing really. I mean, you might be lucky and get client feedback if you've got clients, but if you're right at the start, you don't have anything and you're alone. So entrepreneur, the path of an entrepreneur in the very beginning can be quite a lonely one, and it can be lonely for a while. So it's really useful making sure that you connect with like-minded people. And I know a lot of people here watching are part of network groups, become part of a group of like-minded people who get what it's like to be an entrepreneur, who get what it's like to be working alone, who get what it's like to have to put on all the bloody hats, marketing, admin, bloody creator, all the things we do, because it's nothing like being an employee, right? So when and I didn't know any of this. When I first started out and thought, I'm going to, start my own business, oh my God, I had no idea. So it's really useful if you are one of those people that's in the early stages. I see that Tracy's saying so lonely, that's why you have to network. That's right. The networking, the groups and the people, it's more just for moral support more than anything else. And just to know that you're not alone, know that it is hard, and, get people that can help hook you up with the right other people to help make the job a bit easier, because it is very different. So trusting in yourself is like such a critical part of being an entrepreneur, and believing in yourself. And that is hard to do if you're totally alone. So get a network, get a coach, or someone who can help back you up and give you a steer in the right direction, so that you just don't feel like you're swimming out at sea without, any kind of lifeline. Also, for me, being in groups, like free Facebook groups, as well as I'm also in a paid membership group, which I'm absolutely loving. And because I'm connected with people who are at my level in business, and they can, hook me up with the right things, and they can support me and all those beautiful things. So I really recommend people who are starting out to make sure you do that. What else did I have here? That's pretty much it. I don't know if anyone else has got any thoughts there about moving from being an entrepreneur, an employee, into entrepreneur. And Janie's saying hustle, hustle, hustle. Yeah, and I agree, Janie. It is such a hustle, especially in the early stages. But what I've now started to find, I guess it's because I've found my feet, is that it doesn't have to be hustle, hustle, hustle if you find the ways to do it in a way that works for you. So that's what I'm now finding. And it's probably partly a combination of that I've learned the ropes and I've gotten to this level, but it's also that I've changed my business model. So it's not just hustle, hustle, hustle all the time. So I know some people have to go, and so we'll say goodbye to those. I think Karen's going. Yeah. So, sorry, I just got distracted by the comments then. So the other thing I did want to touch on as well is how other people around you might react when you become this unstoppable force of nature, that, you're on a mission and you can't stop no matter what. How other people in your close circle might react. And that I'm talking about partners and family members. So, and people who maybe used to know you as a different version of yourself before you became unstoppable, before you had your calling, before you had this idea that you just cannot let go of. And it can be hard for those people who are close to you to accept the changes. And I don't know about others watching. Be interesting to know if other people are finding that their loved ones struggle with them becoming unstoppable. I'm just seeing here, Tracy, my husband freaked out. He's not a risk taker. Exactly. So there's people who will not, there'll be some people whose partners don't support them, and that can be really, really tricky to navigate. So just a quick share on that. My ex-husband, I actually did a course way back just towards the end of our relationship. I decided to do a course, and the name of the course was Becoming Unstoppable, which is probably where this whole thing came from. Or it was just called Unstoppable, actually. And when he saw that I was going to do that course, he just saw the name of it and he said, I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to do that. Because he already was sensing that there was something in me wanting to, spread her wings. That she was going to become this unstoppable force of nature, and he didn't want that. He wanted me to stay in my little box where it felt safe for him. And so that course was probably one of the things that opened that bloody box and set me on this path, which has just not been, it's just been a whirlwind. But so I understand where he was coming from. He didn't want that. And my current partner, while he supports what I do, he finds some parts of it challenging, because here I am in my office at 7 o'clock at night, desperate to get on and talk to you guys about becoming unstoppable, whereas all he wants to do is watch fucking Netflix and sit down with me and, just watch Netflix in the evening, or bloody football or something. So for him, it's this kind of, you know, love-hate thing. Like, he loves that I do it and he supports the fact that I do, but he doesn't understand it. He doesn't really get it. He doesn't understand it in the same, you know, and he has said before, you know, you're so driven, April. I don't have anything like that in my life, you know, and I think it is tricky. So I'm raising this up to the surface because I know it's something that some people need to hear, that they're not alone in the fact that the people around them don't necessarily get it and don't support them fully. And for some of that, I think we just have to accept that we are a bit different. And, you know, there's the general public and then there's us. And that, you know, it's okay to be a bit different. But that's, again, why I say it's so important to surround yourself with other people who are on this same path and get it, because you've at least got an outlet to then talk about the fact that, you know, you are a little bit different and that it's okay, and that it's, you know, it's okay not to be like the rest, because the world needs these beautiful, unstoppable creatures like us to lead the way in certain areas. And we're all, you know, I talk about this quite a lot, it's that people who are like us are leaders in one form or another, you know, and we each have our little niche area that we're leading the way in, and it can be a bit of a lonely ride being out the front and, you know, kind of calling the people, come on this way, I know the way, I kind of know the way, I don't know the full way, but I've got a bit of an idea what's ahead, and, you know, I've got the tools and the things to kind of get us there, and I've got the compass and whatever, but, you know, I don't know exactly what's over the hill, but I'm quite prepared to lead. You know, that's the role that we're playing, and it can be, you know, it can be lonely. So having another, you know, leader around the other side of the mountain that you can call out to and say, what have you seen over there? It can be really, really useful. So that's what I wanted to say about all that. Well, I didn't actually know I was going to say all that, but that's all what's come out. So it's sometimes I sit back and listen to myself and think, oh, that's interesting. That sounds very interesting. Yeah, so that's probably it. I don't think I've got much more to add, other than I wanted to let you know, if you don't already, about DIVA, which is my membership program, which is aimed at specifically giving you those tools to lead, giving you the tools to grow your business in alignment with your soul's calling, and also giving you that community and the like-minded support of fellow nutcases, basically. People who get you and you get them, and you help each other out. Such a beautiful thing. So if you want to know more about that at all, just go to the link at the top of my Facebook page here, the Learn More link, and you'll get more details. And personal message me if that's not enough. But for most of you, that'll be enough to know whether or not you're interested in joining up. But yeah, let me just have a quick look, see if there's any other comments here. And your friends don't get it either. That's right, Janie. We should just mention the friends. You'll have your friends who are not entrepreneurs and they're just employees, and they go to work 9 to 5, or maybe they don't work or whatever, and they don't get it either. And, you know, I've got family members who don't get it, and they feel like I've changed, and they may not be that supportive of me changing, because they liked the old April Mac, you know, the one that just had heaps of time to stuff around and drink and do all the things that I don't actually have so much time for these days. So being someone on a mission, being someone who feels called to do big things, it can be hard for others, and we just have to love them and let them, you know, deal with the fact that we're not the same anymore. And, you know, we can't, you know, we shouldn't change back just for them. Absolutely. All right, so I'll say good night. I can see people are going, and it is that time of night, so I could sit here all night and rave on, but I won't do that to you. All right, so take care. Lots of love to you all, and see you soon online. Bye for now.